ES Audio.
Hello, I'm Mark Blunden and this is the Evening Standard's Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, how the Google Pixel Pro phone thermometer works. But first, a local government report in the UK warns driverless cars could be vulnerable to remote hijacking by terrorists. The local government association's Future Crime Horizons scan suggests autonomous vehicles heading to UK roads by 2025 are of particular concern for criminal use as a remote weapon. The report looks at AI-enabled crime and what's described as vehicular terrorism, suggesting deepfakes could also be used to work around facial recognition lock security. The LGA says the paper examines trends in crime as a result of AI in the next 5 to 10 years. Next, the Biden administration is targeting fentanyl trafficking, announcing a series of indictments and sanctions against Chinese companies and executives blamed for importing the chemicals used to make the deadly opioid.
We know that this global fentanyl supply chain, which ends with the deaths of Americans, often starts with chemical companies in China.
That's Attorney General Merrick Garland in the latest salvo to fight against the deadliest overdose crisis in US history.
The Justice Department charged 8 companies based in China and 12 of their executives for crimes related to the production, distribution, and importation of fentanyl, other synthetic opioids, methamphetamines, and their precursor chemicals.
It comes as senior administration officials visit Mexico, where cartels are a major part of the global trafficking network, to discuss the drug threat. Now, how can you tell if your iPhone 15 is overheating? Could try using the rival Google Pixel Pro 8's thermometer. So how does that work? It's been designed to work as a contactless thermometer using a temperature sensor.
It's a convenient and a quick way to check the temp on a pan, or to make sure that the milk in your baby's bottle is just the right temperature.
That's Google Design Director Claude Zellweger speaking at the launch event.
We've submitted an application to the FDA so that you can also use our thermometer app to take your own temperature, which can be saved to the Fitbit app in the future.
It's all done via the new thermometer app with a sensor on the rear of the phone close to the camera, needing to be placed 2 inches away from the heat source. Next, a drone called the T-600, that's the same codename as Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator, has successfully launched an anti-submarine torpedo from the sky. BAE Systems demonstrated its remote-controlled flying weapon during a NATO training exercise. It saw a human controller fly the quadcopter strapped with a torpedo from a dock over the ocean, and there it let the weapon drop. The electric-powered, car-sized T-600 has a payload capacity of 441 pounds, top speed of 87 miles per hour, and a 50-mile range. Now, research led by the University of Southampton has found early humans left Africa for Eurasia 80,000 years ago along a corridor of rivers across the Sinai Peninsula through Jordan. According to the study published in the journal Science Advances, Homo sapiens followed the well-watered corridor of river channels, which have since dried out in the regions and are now desert lands. Research included fieldwork in Jordan's Rift Valley, which uncovered hand tools on the edge of bodies and used light dating techniques to help establish the age of the sediment the tools were buried in. It showed the tools were likely used approximately 84,000 years ago and then abandoned on the banks of the wadis and subsequently buried over time. Let's go to the ads. Stay there for more news from the world of tech and science. Plus, first space junk fine and Wii U goes offline. Why not hit follow in the meantime and give us a rating? Welcome back. The US government has slapped a satellite firm with a fine for space junk for the first time. The Federal Communications Commission fined Dish Network $150,000 for not moving its old EchoStar 7 satellite far enough away from other devices orbiting Earth. EchoStar 7 has been in the cosmos for 21 years, 22,000 miles above Earth, and was meant to be moved 186 miles further away for safety, but only managed 76 miles after running out of power. More than 10,000 satellites launched since the 50s, now over half are floating junk. Next, Britain's £7.5 billion cloud services market is to be investigated by the UK's competition watchdog after regulator Ofcom raised concerns about the dominance of technology giants Amazon and Microsoft. Ofcom's confirmed it's referred the cloud services market, which is a backbone of the online world, to the Competition and Markets Authority for an in-depth probe. It follows a year-long investigation that revealed concerns that business suppliers found barriers in their way when trying to switch suppliers. Ofcom says it's particularly concerned about the position of the market leaders Amazon and Microsoft, which held together a market share of up to 80%. And finally, Nintendo says its Wii U and 3DS will go offline in 2024, which will wipe out co-op play and internet rankings for players using the online elements of the platforms. It follows Nintendo's closure of the Wii U and 3DS stores earlier this year. It's 12.5 years since the release of the 3DS and 11 years since the Wii U went on sale. Nintendo says it will still be possible to download update data and re-download purchased software plus eShop content. You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the Leader podcast for the latest news, interviews and analysis from the Evening Standard here in London, and we'll be back on Friday at 1 p.m. See you then.